I'm delighted today to have Dr. Paula Smith on the Louise M Empowerment series. Dynamic, inspiring, passionate, and commercially savvy are all words that are used to describe Paula as a trusted advisor, professional speaker, 3-time author, and business leadership coach. Paula has enjoyed more than 30 years on an entrepreneurial journey, which have included being the founder of Australia's largest personal development school, franchisor, hotel owner, professional speaker, business coach, and is currently the CEO of the Global Institute of Training and Presenting, a training company specialising in workplace and leadership communication. Paula's decades of research in presentation intelligence and human behaviour have earned her the reputation as a leading expert in the world of powerful presenting and leadership communication. Paula is also a proud mum of 3, wife of 1, and friend to a few more. She's been seen attempting the occasional triathlon and enjoys hanging out on her Perth Hills property with a whole bunch of adorable alpacas. Welcome, Paula. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Hello, Louise. It's pretty exciting to be here, and congratulations on such a wonderful podcast series. I've been listening to it all week.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Paula. I'm really intrigued because I've met so many amazing women through business, through my 9 years of business journey, and I'm always inspired and wonder where they get that sense of I can do, that confidence to actually start a business and grow the business. But I want to know where it starts, because we talk so much about the business journey, where that started, but I want to go right back to childhood and see if this sense of empowerment started as a child and whether that helped you through as an adult, transition into an adult life. So look, first of all, I'd love to ask you what your definition of empowerment is.
So a big question right off the bat, hey? Look, I think empower or empowerment is one of those words that's open into interpretation. It's a bit like one of those words like, motivation or transformation or even thought leadership. People can interpret it in a number of ways. But I guess for me, to empower somebody is more like a process. So to empower somebody is sometimes maybe to give them authority, to empower them to make a decision. So to empower somebody, I think, is a process where you can give them all the resources that they need, but to feel empowered definitely comes from inside. It's a bit like motivation. You can't motivate anyone, but you can certainly inspire them. But no one can motivate you. It has to come from within. So I think when you feel empowered, you're unstoppable. And when you feel empowered, you tend to take more risks, live life to the full. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I guess if I had to sum up, if I feel empowered, I feel free, totally free. Yeah. I guess, does that make sense?
I love that. Yeah, just you can conquer the world. A lot of it is a feeling for you, but do you actually think you present differently physically?
Oh, definitely. I think when you feel confident, you walk with your head held high, your strides are bigger. So I think when you feel confident, people can feel that energy. They can see that energy, and they can feel that energy that comes from with you. It's like when somebody is feeling shame, their whole body or their physicality, their shoulders will go down, their head will go down. But when they're feeling empowered, I think they look empowered.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you're the walking, talking empowerment person. I've known you for several years now and seen you present. And so Paula, where did your sense of empowerment, your feeling of empowerment, I believe it started for you in childhood, but is that correct?
Look, probably. I grew up in a typical Australian household, if you can even think what that even looks like nowadays. And when I say Australia, my parents were actually English. We came out to Australia when I was only 3 years old. But it was mum, dad, my sister, probably the mortgage at the station wagon. We just didn't have a Labrador, we had a collie. And my mum didn't have maybe all the opportunities that she wanted me to have. And whether that was just the era or circumstance, she was a really smart and clever lady, but just missed out on so many opportunities herself. So she was a stay-at-home mum, and she did that job remarkably well. So I think from a very early age, she gave me that self-belief. She told me from a very early age, you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it. You know, if only she would have used all those pep talks for herself, I think she could also have done amazing things. And she certainly didn't want to live vicariously through her children. But it was a wonderful gift that she gave us. And anytime I wanted to try something new, whether it was drama, piano, dancing, debating, she always made the resources available for me to try new things.
It's interesting because you said, you know, if only she gave herself the pep talk. And when you said she always encouraged you and said you could do whatever you want to do, it sounds like you actually believe that. Because sometimes, because you don't see your mother necessarily as empowered, you may not actually believe what she's saying. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you can say something but not actually really feel that what they are saying is truth.
Absolutely. I think I was very lucky. Look, I went to a state school, but I had a beautiful set of friends who were also very supportive. So I think your peer group, as well as your family, and although we didn't have family around us, all our extended family was in England, the network that I had around me at that time, I think plays a huge role in how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. Did teachers help you with that as well?
Oh, absolutely. So one of my favourite people in the world was my school principal, and I don't think many people say that. I moved high schools when I was 13, and that's a very big move. Yeah. And my school principal, and it was just this amazing supportive man, and I was fortunate enough to become head girl of that school eventually, and he was like my mentor and my role model. And he certainly made me feel empowered. He never told me what to do, but he had this amazing way of asking the most amazing questions. So I came up with all the answers myself. Yeah, he was such a remarkable man.
I believe that you volunteered. Well, what's the word? You applied to be the speaker at school assemblies. And you believe that so many people wanted to do that, but found out later, years to come, that you were the only one that applied.
Yes, and I do share this story in some of my keynotes as well, when we talk about that power of being visible through speaking. So yes, when I started the school, there was a competition of who would like to MC all the school assemblies. Now, I was 15 and I was confident. I grew up in an amateur theatre family. That's one of those other gifts that my parents gave to me. I started in the amateur theatre when I was only 9 years old. So I'm thinking what a wonderful opportunity it was to MC all these school assemblies. So of course I put up my hand, and the principal called me into the office and said, "Congratulations, Paula, the gig's all yours." And I thought it was amazing because there was no auditions, and I just happened to get the gig. And he confessed to me at the end of the year, I was the only person in the entire school who actually put their hand up to do it.
It would have been my nightmare at 15, 16.
But yeah, and because though I put my hand up and I was on that stage every single week in front of the entire school community, everyone got to know me, like me, trust me. So hence that began my journey on being captain of the sports team. And I wasn't particularly a sporty child. And then I eventually became head girl purely because of that opportunity to be empowered, I guess, and to feel empowered to stand up and take that opportunity when it was presented to me.
So what happened after school? So did you continue that, speaking opportunities after school? Where did you go? Did you go to uni, or did you go and work? What did you do?
Yeah, so when I left school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was a straight A student, so my parents thought the natural pathway for me was to go to university, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I left school and just started working part-time, obviously, while I was still at school, but my first full-time job was working at an accountant, of all things. It wasn't really a personality match.
You keep quiet there.
I didn't last very long. And look, one of my favourite favorite hobbies at that time was going for job interviews. I loved going for job interviews. But then I'd get the job and I wasn't that excited really about doing the job or staying at the job. I just loved the process of the interviews. Now that should have given me a bit of an indication of what a good career match was for me. But I had about 14 different full-time jobs, and from working in, retail stores to working at a newspaper. I even worked in a shoe store. I don't think I told you that, Louise.
No,
we'll talk about that.
Paula, you worked for Louise M one day.
So I know, who knows? And so it wasn't until I was about 18 and that I thought, should I go to uni? What should I do? And an opportunity came my way to be the very first female and the youngest to this particular small business entrepreneur course that was funded by the government. So I accepted the opportunity. I did a full-time business management course and then started my own business. So I was 19 years of age when I came home and said, Mum, Dad, to appease my long-suffering parents who said, look, come on, settle down. Are you going to uni? What are you going to do? I said, no, I actually want to start my own business. And so my parents weren't in business. In fact, I didn't even know anyone who had a business at this stage, but I just had this deep desire to make my own way in life, to make my own money, and just to see where it led me. And I guess my whole attitude was, well, how hard can it be? A little bit.
Well, 19, you sort of have that attitude, don't you? But to start your own business, it's just amazing. I always overthought everything, and it stopped me from doing a lot. So yeah, it's amazing to hear how you just had that gung-ho, I can do it. It's,
I definitely did not overthink anything at that time. But in hindsight, if I look back and think about that, that confidence and ignorance all at that same time, I sometimes wish I could bottle all that up and to sell it, because sometimes my ignorance and the rule breaking, because I didn't really know how to run a business, so I was breaking all the rules, and that was probably my greatest gift at the time. And sometimes when we get to our age, we sort of know all the rules and we go, oh, we better not do that and we shouldn't do this. And it's getting that balance, isn't it, of rule breaking and risk taking, and that of course equals innovation and sometimes success.
Yes, it's a pity as an adult we learn the rules and tend to abide by them. I'm looking at my 2.5-year-old and she's just free as, just loving life, and just hope she maintains that. Although I know we do have to follow some rules at some point. So as an adult, what else do you do to feel empowered? I know you're a member of Businesswomen Australia. Is that something you use for that? That networking and building confidence and more knowledge and relationships. And what else? What else have you used to feel empowered as an adult?
I think it's a journey, and I think you need to keep on that journey. You don't just feel empowered one day and it's a magic pill that you've got forever. It's that journey that you go through. And we all have days where we have this imposter syndrome day, or the days that we're not feeling our best. But it's all those days that we have to focus on what we can do, obviously not what we can't do. But I think being part of amazing networks, especially when you're self-employed, is really important for that human connection. We're wired to connect with other people. So when we're sometimes, self-employed, or we're spending a lot of time working from home, we need that connection through our networks. So whether it's through networks like Businesswomen Australia, and I've been part of a professional speaker tribe for many, many years. I think one of my memberships, I was a member for 28 years, which was a training organisation as well. So I think that connection with your tribe is very important to keep empowered, to stay empowered, and to have really supportive colleagues and peers and clients and family around you.
Yeah. Now, I recently did a course of yours, a one-day course, Present with Impact, which was just incredible. So is that how you're mostly helping people now feel empowered in their life and work?
But that's definitely one part of it. And I love delivering those one-day workshops, because It's a really diverse group, and you would have seen when you were in the room. So a lot of my work is in-house, and I love my corporate work. So I get to work with some of Australia's largest companies and government departments, which is I absolutely adore. But I've had such a long history in business that I also get to work with small business owners and entrepreneurs. So when I run either business coaching masterminds or business coaching, private sessions, or if I run my public programs one day, I tend to get a really diverse audience filled with, business owners. And sometimes there's, the corporates. If somebody was away when I delivered in-house, they might send that person to the public course. But it's always such a diverse group. And I just love to do it. And it's at home. I have the studio at home. So obviously I feel empowered because I'm at home, I'm in my environment, and I get to share it with my clients. And just that one day, everyone gets to leave their mobile phones, they come up to the hills, they forget the world and just concentrate on themselves and building that confidence through speaking.
I thought you were going to say you're in your pajamas.
Some days, you only have to get dressed up from the waist up now for some of these Zoom calls.
So it's just amazing. I've loved interviewing women, and everyone's story is different, and everyone's definition of empowerment is different. And I really thank you for sharing your story today. What I want to finish off with, though, is what's your relationship with shoes? You said you worked in shoe retail for a little bit there. So is it a good relationship or not so good relationship with shoes?
My relationship with shoes has changed. So in the early days, I think it was, job number 13, that I worked for Easy Walking Shoes. Do you remember Easy Walking Shoes? No. It was in the middle of the Hay Street. I'm showing my age now.
We're similar.
The Hay Street Mall. And I think I stayed there for about 3 or 4 months, and I was totally obsessed with shoes. And only because, of course, I was surrounded by these beautiful fashion shoes every day. So for many years, it was always about fashion and what looked good. And as long as it looked good, it didn't matter if it was comfortable or not. It was all about the fashion. And it's a little bit, as we get older, we get a bit wiser, don't we? And then I realized that I'm on my feet all day, and it doesn't really matter how amazing they look, as long as they're comfortable, because they have to see me throughout.
Oh gosh, isn't it terrible we change as adults? Yeah.
So then there was the search to go, it's got to look good and it's got to be comfortable. But about 5 years, I had a skiing accident and I fractured my back. So then I didn't care what they looked like at all. It was, they had to give me support. Yeah. They had to give me support so I wasn't in pain if I was on my feet all day. So that was a completely different relationship yet again. But I think I'm back to, they've got to be comfortable all day, but they've got to look great as well. So I'm back there today. So ask me in 2 years' time, it could be different, but I'm definitely back. I like to sort of follow a bit of fashion, but definitely comfort has to be number one.
Yes, well, Louise M likes to empower women with that style and comfort. So I know exactly what you're talking about. So thank you, Paula. Thank you so much for sharing your empowerment journey with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the series. And look, how can actually people get in contact with you and do some of your courses, or just have a chat with you about things?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 2 websites. I've got my paulasmith.com.au, and that's my website for my speaking, my personal niche market, which is in that presentation intelligence. And then I have my training company. My training company, we deliver over 30 masterclasses in a range of all people skills, and that is gitp.com.au. So either of those websites, there is an email that gets directly to my inbox. And I'm also one of these people who has my phone number on my websites as well. So I actually welcome people to pick up the phone and have a chat to me. They don't always have to send me an email. So I'm very contactable and I always promise, my customer service promise is I'll always return a call or an email within 24 hours.
Fantastic. I know it's great having that personalized. I just was speaking to a client this morning, and you just get so much more information and a feel of the person you're speaking with, so much more with a phone call. So, and things happen more efficiently that way as well. So thank you so much, Paula. And congratulations on getting your doctorate as well. That's very impressive as well. recently?
No, I've been introduced a couple of times this week as Dr. Paula Smith, and it's
Well done.
absolutely marvelous. And that's interesting when you're talking about, you know, what else empowers you. I think as you get older, there's many different things, isn't it? And I think one of the questions you asked me earlier on is, how do I feel empowered as an adult? But I think it's age, it's experience. And for me, education has always played a really big part in it as well. And that's purely for me. So I think that age, experience and education and the people around me, those are my 4 things to, I guess, stay feeling empowered as I go about my life.
Yeah, fantastic. I will warn you though, now that you're Dr. Paula Smith, on the flight list, when you travel, it'll have doctor, and yeah, a flight attendant might just tap on your shoulder and needs some help, some medical assistance. But yeah, you'll have to enlighten it. You don't have any medical experience, but yeah.
You know, I'll feel empowered to give it a crack. You know that I think it was you who told me that. So I'm off to the UK. I'm off to London in about 4 weeks' time. And when I had to put my details in, I left the doctor out. It's just plain Paula for that flight.
Oh, you could have put princess or something like that.
Princess works for me as well. It's been an absolute delight chatting to you, Louise, and best of luck with the rest of your podcast series. I know I'm a fan and I'll keep on listening in.
Thank you so much, Paula. See you.
Bye.